Okay, what is going on YouTube and also on the IG page at official Cheddar 931? We are now live and I will be doing my discussion reaction to this documentary I found that someone did on the Columbia Mall. It's 3 parts. I actually took all 3 parts, uploaded it the full thing to my YouTube channel, and I'll be giving my feedback on my point of view as not just a local citizen, but what I clearly remember. And we will be playing the audio. You guys may not see the video, but you guys will certainly hear it. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so we have these old commercials from the Columbia Mall that I'm looking at. So in Sound Shop and all them. Clears. Phone stores. Got goodies back then as well. So now we're getting a voiceover for the voiceover answer machine that is showing the mall the way it is now, or when this was made like several months ago. So far in the beginning of this documentary, we had the person. I would like to know where they found these old commercials for the mall when they put this together. And we do have our own local station, here in town. I would imagine a lot of the documentaries, or not documentaries, a lot of the commercials that were shot were in the archives. You would think in the town hall we have, but it's not. You would think that. We got what it looked like several looking through. Now there has been some updates. Obviously, we have a motorcycle shop, and they are tearing down another part. And of course, there's the cancer hospital and everything. Before that, and how I can remember before the mall was built, and I have photo evidence, but it's packed away. We actually had there was a water park, the Opry Mills water park. We had that. Once that got torn away, then they decided to build the mall along with Walmart. Now, I don't know if a lot of people remember, we used to have the Kmart here too. So I kind of just want to fill that part in. Again, if people are tuning in, we're going to be listening to what happened to the Columbia Mall documentary that somebody has made. And there's also a series called Dead Malls as well. And as we're going to be listening, like this is in 3 parts, as we're going to be listening, you're going to be finding out exactly what happened and why it is the way that it is. This is also for the YouTube channel and for the IG. So let's go ahead and continue.
An exceptional shopping experience.
The Columbia Mall, or Shady Brook Mall as it was known for many years in our community, opened on September 29th, 1981, to an excited Columbia and Murray County. This was a huge win for the area for many years to come, as it would be part of the commercial hub for the southern Middle Tennessee region. Upon opening, Shady Brook Mall was filled with many stores, places to eat, an arcade, and was a bustling commercial jewel for Columbia. People came
53 stores. We had 53 stores in the Columbia Mall then. Already, I would like to know where this guy got these photos at. along with these old pictures that are in black and white. We had, count them, 53 stores. What the fuck? Holy shit.
From all over to do business, make memories, and have a first class.
If you guys want to watch the documentary for yourselves, type in what happened to the Columbia Mall.
Shopping experience.
Let's continue.
Many events have also taken place over the years at this former center of commerce.
There's a lot of great old photos from the past
and family-friendly entertainment
that they're
for our
showing.
community. Over the years, the mall has seen changes. Some stores have opened, but most have closed or relocated.
Most are really just closed rather than relocated.
You may remember fondly a fountain that used to occupy the center of the mall, but is now a canvas for despair.
Yeah, they had the fountain. They had the second story. Right now, they're showing other old commercials that were here in the store.
The mall is 282,000 square feet of enclosed space sitting on 30 acres in the commercial heart of Columbia, Tennessee at 800 South James Campbell Boulevard. While the mall has had different owners, the current owner, Hull Property Group, took over the mall in 2004. As Columbia residents know, since
the same
that time,
damn
the mall
group
has continued to lose businesses
that
and become an eyesore
bought
to our vibrant and growing community.
a lot of places in town and why Columbia the way it is now because of this damn group.
The Army and Navy Recruitment Office, J.C. Penney, Bath and Body Works, Marie's Hair Company, Farmer's Family Restaurant, Payless Shoe Store, and Murray Regional Medical Center. The other 35 available spaces are vacant, making the mall roughly 10% full. Outside the mall, the lack of effort and concern by Hull Property Group is apparent. The Columbia Mall signs on James Campbell Boulevard used to light up with animations and information about the mall. Now they sit dead, much like the mall itself. The parking lot is torn up in many places and causes problems for people driving by the property. The current state of the interior is not much different. As you take a look around, the inside is very dark. Only a few lights work, even with the dirty skylights. One side of the mall is completely closed off, as there are no tenants. The side that is open is more reminiscent of a horror movie set than a mall. The mall map is extremely outdated. There are a number of businesses on the map that haven't been there for years, or have simply been scratched out. Water spots on the ceiling.
So a lot of the big parts of this, again, Holmes Company, who is responsible for buying Columbia Mall, but it goes farther beyond that. It goes way much more farther beyond that. It's just not, here in Tennessee, it's all over the US. And places like those with selfish, greedy people who, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's with selfish, greedy people like this, with companies who, I want to say, take rather than giving, will never make sense, because there's no real modem behind companies that say, hey, to buy out buildings or businesses were already doing good, and then causing that to, let's be honest, file for bankruptcy, that leads in to places like how we are now. Like, there's nothing more left of this town. We know that it's no more than a dead corpse now, if you will. And throughout this, we're seeing a lot of the abandoned maintenance work. Yes, there's holes in the ceiling. Yes, you have leaks going onto the floor. We get that. And I'm doing this because this right here is important, because a lot of us who really don't look into things like to assume and accumulate. And I'm doing this for everyone because not only is this history, because I'm also a historian. And you have to be open and aware to why small towns like us are now becoming ghost towns, because we have selfish, greedy people with high class money that are beyond wealthy, that bring construction to us, that puts money into their pockets.
And a permanent bucket on the floor show the signs of neglect. Not much is known about any of the current plans involving the mall. City and county officials have been trying to get information and answers out of the mall owners, the whole property group, for many years. We can, however, look back at the previous articles in the Columbia Daily Herald, with the mall owners as either a what might have been, or the false promises of the property owners. Within the next 2 years, Whole Story Gibson will give the Columbia Mall a very attractive facelift. The center will face James Campbell Boulevard, which will enhance that corridor. HSG is talking with current tenants about ways to reconfigure their operations to exterior-only entrances. This provides customers with easier store access and convenience, which is what the modern consumer craves. The whole property group touts their ability to take failing malls and rebuild and strengthen the retail landscape, yet we have not seen that with the Columbia Mall. Owner Jim Hull's letter on their website states, "We believe that every community should have a first-class enclosed shopping mall as a part of a robust and defined retail corridor. The new realities of retail have made it difficult for enclosed fashion malls and previously successful retail corridors to survive without steady ownership and unwavering stewardship. However, these properties are too important to fail. All communities need their enclosed mall and the surrounding retail corridor to succeed, as it is a symbol of a thriving community. We are enthusiastic about the possibilities and are steadfast in our mission to transform these properties. We are proud of our company's track record of success and look forward to working with your community."
So that was the first half. Now we know, again, going back that, yeah, Holmes Company just didn't come down to the South. It went from the West Coast, Midwest, East Coast. That, again, greedy, selfish people that buy buildings that are successful. Again, that puts money into their pocket but causes damage to the other side of the coin, to where you get dead end places like these. That's why we have nothing really here for the youth. Again, this is, for me, history, because it's sharing, a lot. We seen so much of this town just change over the past 30 years, over 2 decades at the most, and over an era, to where now we can say, hey, is this what we want? No, it's not. And you have a lot of these companies that come in and always put up churches and more hospitals. And that's I'm just sick of seeing that, because one, I'm not a church going person. I'm not religious. I'm sick of seeing hospitals. So rather than putting, really money into shit that's not needed, put it into something that could be needed. Like, yeah, we all know our mall here needs much maintenance, work. The problem is that with Holmes Company owning this, is that they'll hire anybody there to be manager of the building. And right now there's no manager there that I'm completely aware of. The last one I remember, and he was a maintenance worker who, with no experience of management, who let it go under even more. Now, one side, I can understand that it's an opportunity to get a bit more money on one's paycheck, but hiring someone without experience causes, as what we see now, what are damages. So, it's really, really sad. And you always have those type of companies that say, hey, turn in your keys. We'll probably never will see this. We'll probably never will get back to where we once was, ever, because we have selfish, greedy companies that put money in their pocket that causes things to go under, to where we end up getting what we get now. It's like the situation with Best Buy and Toys R Us. The reason why both of those business went under, because they were in a partnership deal. Toys R Us overshadowed Best Buy when it came to close down, because there's always a third to a fourth party involved that owns it. And we know the first news that came Best Buy. So Their numbers and their stock went under. So they needed something to throw underneath the bus. We knew that affected Toys R Us, which was getting a lot of business, which causes them to go into bankruptcy, then having to shut down. Now, some could say, well, what about the online marketing? What about online shopping? Where does that go into having a cause and effect for malls, businesses to close down? As I'm going through this, personally, myself, I don't want to blame the online shopping because it's not. To me, that's just not the case. You can't you can't always blame online marketing for places closing down, for people losing jobs, because those type of things also have people behind them to help them run the resource for that. There's still a market for physical CDs. We do know malls do still exist, but again, you get companies that come in to buy it out to put money in their pocket that makes the community suffer for a place that helped brought in money to give back. And then, really just taken away. That's why we see so much of these abandoned places, so many people now losing their jobs because of this. And people just want to be blind to the fact that they refuse to ignore it. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. And those whoever don't like the live stream of what I'm trying to teach, then you're all welcome to fucking leave. And sharp, and especially for you, dude, I have a fucking life, so fucking sharp, and especially for you, dude, I have a fucking life, so fuck you. I'm teaching people certain history because this is important. So if you don't like it, you can fucking leave or fucking block me. It's not gonna hurt me any none, bitch. But think about it. You're at a place of business that you work, and then all of a sudden you have a company that buys you out, but they don't tell you that no one's coming in, and then all of a sudden you get this. Oh, well, hand in your keys. It's sad that we see stuff like this because there was a lot here once that brought so much, not just hope, but jobs to people. And why we always see businesses not, why we always see our favorite places kind of, die off. It's sad, but sadly, that's the world we live in. We may not ever get to, we may not ever get back to where we once was. And that's why now it's getting to the point where a lot of people are just moving, trying to go and do certain things with what they want to do. We're supposed to be known as the artist district. If we're so much known as the artist district, then where are the resources of how can I put this? A place where people can expand because there's so much talent, but so much of it get wasted that they have no place to go for it. And the mall used to be something like that where you could show that. But now we have to go outside just to show. A lot of the power behind all of it, if anybody knows, their history, then Pulaski is famous for creating the KKK. And a lot of them now, throughout the years, and the family members are in office. Not just within the town, but within the state. And parents are always wondering why all this negativity is going on with their kids. Because we have selfish, greedy companies that come in and do things like this. We may never again, sadly, this is the world we live. And sadly, companies like this do attack jobs that barely pay their workers. Hold on. Sadly, you have companies like that. I think within the next 5 years, this town is going to be on the list of it's already on the list of one of the US poorest towns. It's going to be now back on the list, probably for being the ghost town within the next 5 years. Because again, what I just watched, we have these selfish, greedy companies that come in and destroy things that brings good, that puts money in their pocket, that causes suffering. And sadly, that's the world now we live in. I might be a bit biased at times, but a lot of the money that is there, I'm just sick of seeing a lot of damn hospitals being built, man. I'm just sick of seeing it. I really am. I see this place within the next 5 years becoming a ghost town, more abandoned, left to rot. There used to be a place for use here. And we just don't have that anymore. So the question goes to show, each time one of us from the community comes up, rises up, and tries to do something good, it always gets shut down because you have that negative energy of those people who say who have the power to put a stop to it. It was years ago, one of my friends, his mother raised some money to want to bring Central up to code rather than rather than letting that happen, they really just put a stall on it for so much. They actually took the money and not did anything with it. Because I remember, and I can tell you this: if you're a parent and you know your child in school and you know those book fees and the registration fees that you always give to the school for your child to start, and you're always wondering, why is that my child always bringing home these worn down books? Is this what we're paying for? Yeah, because I used to work for the school. I used to work for Whitthorne and Central because I didn't have that very many classes. And what's inside the garage, where the money goes, is towards computers, trophies, sports equipment, new books that won't be used or seen until after 15 years down the line, when a lot of us are no longer there, even going into 20 years down the line when our children go to those schools. Because I remember stamping and picking up old books that were so many years old, putting new ones in and stamping them with years to where none of us would be there. Why we're left with things that are 35, 40 years old that are not even updated. So that's where a lot of the money goes. So what makes you think what I just explained is any different? Again, because you have selfish, greedy people, companies that come in and destroy things in the community that give back. Why do you think we have so many of our youth out here doing the dumb shit that they do? Because we have negative energy sources behind all that wants us to not grow, wants us to not breathe. And every time one of us fights back, it always gets shut down. Always ends up happening. And a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. Well, guess what? Sadly to say, this is the truth. You have to be awoke. I think it was maybe 6-7 years ago. There were so many parties going on. You have so many of these young underage kids going to these places, pills and drinking, and you always hear about somebody end up being pregnant. Same thing now. To where you think living life is going out and clubbing every night, getting wasted. It's not. Because now you're buying into the shit society has put in, and you're taking the path that they are giving you. Because you're letting these type of outside sources control you, and you're wondering why. Or a lot of you are wondering why. Why is our mall like this? Why are so many businesses shutting down? Why can we not find work in certain areas? Because of companies, from what we just listened to, like that, comes in and destroys us as people. And a lot of you can't take it. Again, if you don't like this live stream with what I'm sharing, then by all means fucking leave. Because this isn't for the kind heart. This isn't for the soft. This isn't for people of kind heart. It really isn't. This is me bringing knowledge, sharing what I know with my history. Sadly, again, we're always going to have negative outside sources that's going to want to bring towns like us down, that wants to hold under, doesn't want to expand, doesn't want to breathe, that's putting stuff into us as a society that causes people like me to want to do videos like this to spread a message, say, hey, this is happening. Why certain people, like also me, we fight through depression, and why you hear a lot of people end up really committing suicide. Why so many people are drove to drugs, because that's the only way for us now to really escape. And it's sad. Again, I like speaking harsh truth when it comes to it. And if you can't take that, then get off the live stream. I remember it was many, many years ago. We had somebody running from, I think, a mayor. I do believe. A little bit before that, he was really doing some good. Then soon as he ran for mayor and won, he disappeared. I'm also a bit of conspiracist as well. Again, if you know, like, there's a lot about our town's history that a lot of people don't know about, that's hidden, and it takes a lot of research, takes a lot of digging. It takes yourself to want to go out there and find it, to where, yes, a lot of this town, if not the state itself, and the South in general, is really ran by ex-Klan members. To where I believe the mayor, personally himself, who was doing some good, got killed. Because people like that don't like anything positive. They just don't like it. That's just and that's just how it is. This world, especially in the South, isn't made for us. And people wonder why I always speak like I do, because you have to be awoke now to reality. You have to. And just like certain things are, we're gonna go off to the side for a bit on this. We're gonna go off to the side for a bit on this. A lot of people are gonna hate me for what I have to say, but cool. Things don't faze me anymore. Things are thrown out there to us in this world, in society, on social media, to distract us from what's going on, if you will. The best example I can give now is the puppet Colin Kaepernick, or whatever the fuck his name is. A lot of people give him praise because he's standing up for something that he believes in. I can't give him that praise, because now we're taking certain things and making it into a racial issue that bothers me. I'm a mixed breed. Okay, I'm mixed. I've been on both sides of the coin with this. First, you want to make the American flag something negative, something that's you're pointing out to be negative, that gives hope to people on other countries who want to come here, who don't have the privileges like we do, who don't have the freedom like we have. You want to take that away. You have family members or friends who serve, who fight in wars and died carrying that flag, and you want to disrespect it. that means you're disrespecting them. You want to make now footwear a racial issue. All this is just shoes. And distractions like that with puppets like those, what distracts people of those who tune into live streams and want to say shit because they can't handle life, because they're scared. So they need shit to complain about. That's why you have people like me that do these conversations and topics to bring to bring awareness. I bet if I was out here right now smoking weed up on the live stream, showing a gun, talking mad shit, everyone would be happy to see that, because that's just how blind and fucking dumb you are to the fact of that you are a puppet and not a human being. Which goes back to the main source of all this. I have seen this town at its best, saw it at its worst, and now I'm seeing it where it's no more than just a skeleton corpse. That's all it is now. Because we allowed outside negative sources to come in and take. And we all know the outcome when someone wants to stand up and fight for it. They always end up getting shut up. And people wonder why our town the way it is. We allowed that type of poison to come in. We allowed it to be that way. So, that's just how it goes. That's just how the world and our society works. Going back, I remember I did a video about Jordans or Jays along with the NBA and NFL K games. Those are put out there as distractions for us as human beings, because a lot of it's recycled stuff that's been kept in storage that we all spend $60, $70 on to $100 on every year. They come out when you're rebuying the same product over and over again, and it's not worth nothing. With the shoes, it's the same. Like some of the real main ones. I remember trying to have a conversation with somebody about this several years ago, and they wanted to be so blind and stupid to the fact. It was like talking to a brick wall. A lot of the main shoes that keep coming out with Jordans and Jays was the black and red ones. I was saying, I got the new ones. Then what was it? I think it was like last year, or was it 16? Then you had people really starting to get awareness to it, and then wanting to say, well, you're just putting out the same ones. Poison for us in society to take us away from reality. The same thing with the sports games. If I wanted to play a Madden game, I would go and play 96 Madden for the Sega, because it's the same damn thing that came out not too long ago, which is the 2K19. Same recycled shit. Only difference is you got new players, better graphics. Still the same thing. And you have to speak up, because you've allowed those negative outside sources to turn you into sheep, not shepherds, that make you into puppets. And you're wondering why the society and the town that we live in is the way that it is. Because we have dumb, ignorant, blind fucks that are too afraid to be open and to speak. That's why, again, I do streams like these, because I'm not afraid to speak. If you don't like it, then go. It ain't gonna hurt me none. Because I know a lot of you at the end of the day just ain't gonna do shit to me. Point blank, period. Lucky I'm a lot more calmer person now than I was then. Because a lot of you would get fucked up, if not killed. So I just wanted to do this. This been on my mind for a while. I'm glad I finally got a chance to be able to speak. And again, those that got a problem, fuck you. Do something about it. I'm out. For the YouTube stream, live, I hope I finally actually got this to be able to work. I'm surprised. Surprised it did work. Wow. I had to look up a video on how to actually turn on the camera and the microphone source for this. And it's sad that we have this. So we're going to continue on with part 2 the video for the YouTube. Let's go on and get to it.
All across the United States, hundreds of anchor stores and malls are being boarded up and closed. The decline of malls can be attributed to buyers' shopping habits. Technology has made buying products much easier, featuring reviews and hands-on experiences from users. Discount stores like
I was just talking about this for online shopping. Do I think online shopping is taken away from stores that are physical? I'm going to be honest, it really isn't.
TJ Maxx also contribute to buying habits
because you can either want people that want it now or people that are like, okay, I can order this because I might be a bit too busy to go to the store and get it. So it's a win-win situation. And it runs to the companies that sell the product. So you're pretty much making your money either way.
Offering a higher quality item at a lower price. Department and anchor stores are directly affected by this, and when they close, the mall is usually not far behind. These large mall properties are causing problems for the cities they are in, but some have been utilized for different spaces. According to Green Street Advisors, a real estate analytics firm, about 15% of U.S. malls will fail or be converted into non-retail space within the next 10 years. We can see some of that change in Middle Tennessee. Part of 100 Oaks Mall in Nashville has become the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We spoke to community leaders and citizens about what they think should be done with the Columbia Mall property.
Well, I'd like to see it revitalized and an active commerce center for our community. I hope that we'll push forward and make something happen there. I think Murray Regional's participation out there is a true asset.
I would love to see it developed as a retail development. I would like to see something. Maybe a new buyer comes in and purchases the thing, or the existing buyer right now just develops it into some retail space, because I think it's a retail corridor. That's what I'd like to see it used for.
Well, it's prime real estate, and it would be perfect for mixed use, where you have high density homes or townhomes, as well as some retail in there. It's probably best used for that.
The Columbia Mall property has been a huge disappointment to this community. It began with much promise. It eviscerated our downtown because downtown merchants thought that was the thing to do, the modern thing to do. And now either they should turn it into some kind of civic center and do things that would help the community, or perhaps they could sell the whole thing to the hospital.
I would love to see a convention center. You know, I hold events with 100 plus people monthly, and we don't have a place to hold all those people. Annual.
Pause it right there. Again, the rest of this is for the YouTube. Rest of this is for the YouTube stream. I'm hearing a lot of these people as you guys are hearing with what they like to see done with it, I have to disagree. A lot of what they're saying is not going to help. You want to do something to bring back not just money generating in to the town, but something for the community that puts in to give our youth hope, to change things around, and to help jobs come in. I would like to see it brought back to its natural state at its prime to bring in more, but that's not going to happen. To me, what's really going to end, to me, what it's becoming is a plaza center for vehicles with what we've seen that several times before when they wanted to sell tires, and now it's motorcycles. I believe the other part, what they're tearing out where Goodies used to be at and all that, is going to end up being a place again for vehicles of some sort. I predict that. We already know most of it's the hospital. A lot of the empty slots. Pretty soon, I'm really leaning towards it really being most hospital, if not a vehicle center. Because JCPenney's was supposed to close down not long ago. And I believe that still is. I don't think, and what they're wanting to do, they want to turn it into vacant lot, people to park, housing. And again, that's one thing I'm sick of seeing is we have more housing here being built. I understand we're a fast growing community and they're going to need a lot of people to live. But what's the good of that if you can't bring in business?
I need a place that holds more than 400 people, and we just don't have that here in Columbia, and I would love to see them all turn into that.
Well, in my world, highest and best is the most important thing we could ever think about doing. Retail will be the best we could ever have, but in case we needed to have some office space and or some medical, it would be acceptable. We need something out there that would draw traffic. You know, the Columbia Mall property is one of the biggest opportunities we have in Columbia. In my opinion, they need to tear it down and redevelop it from the ground up. I do not think what's currently there can be turned around. I think it needs to start from scratch.
In my opinion, it should be a better mall. We need a better, bigger mall. It's so embarrassing when you have people come in from out of town and they say, "Where's your mall?" And we say, "Cool Springs." So I think it should be a better, bigger mall.
Well, my opinion is don't try to rebuild a mall site there. I'd put a convention center, a hotel, restaurants and bistros and walking areas, and add to the vitality of the downtown. And one of the biggest issues in Columbia right now is no in-town commercial housing or hotel space and a convention center. Perfect place to put it.
Well, I think we need to develop that area. It's such a key part of our community. It's right in the center of town. There's a lot of structure there right now, but we need to have businesses there and employ people and fully utilize that space.
I think the Columbia Mall should become a rec center for families to work out at, play at, and just have a good time.
I think it should just be revitalized somewhere, hopefully with community in mind. And it's a huge open space right in the middle of town. So if we do something that the community could benefit recreation-wise, that would be awesome. But I don't know, maybe I think the indoor mall is kind of is being phased out. So maybe we could turn it into something different and unique that could be a recreational type area. That would be awesome.
In my opinion, the Columbia Mall property needs to be sold, and we need to do something.
Well, I would love to see
I think a lot of this is just, let's go back for a bit.
an investor come in and do more retail, but perhaps.
Yeah, a lot of it is being sold. You know, going back, say, it was after Hurricane Katrina in Florida, near, you know, the Miami, New Orleans part at the most. There was a lot of abandoned places like that were so up there that was never rebuilt. And a lot of communities become like us that are dead now.
It's more of an open style retail.
Here are some viewer-submitted photos from the Columbia Mall's past.
Seeing these, it's sad. Exactly why it is the way it is now. You know, I hate to see something like that, but you know, I'm out, and see you guys next time. But you know, I just really wanted to share this and everything.